there. In this video I'm going to show you how you can make these Voronoi earrings, which are personalised in this instance with the letter W on it, but you can put any letter of the alphabet, using Fluid Designer for 3D printing. So we're going to add a connector, so we're going to use this object here. We're also going to use a Harrington font, and I'm going to use the W. And we're also going to use one of the patterns that are available if you purchase Fluid Designer for 3D printing. We're going to use this Voronoi pattern. So I'm going to use this circular Voronoi pattern here, and if we look at the size of this, it's quite large at the moment. It's 50mm by 50mm. So what I'm going to do is I'll just switch on screencast key, so key presses I make should be down here. So I press S on the keyboard for scale, and I'm going to type 0.4 and enter. Now whenever you scale an object like this in Fluid Designer, always do Control A and apply the scale, and you'll notice that the thickness returns. Now at this moment in time, the cross section of this object is 1 by 2. Because we're making earrings, we want to thin that down a little bit. So you know, this is a parametric smart object. We can change the thickness if you wanted to make a pendant. We're going to make an earring today, so I'll take it down to 1 by 1. And if I just view that from the top there, now what I want to do is to just change the shape of this. So if I just press the tab key to go into edit mode, and I'll just highlight that on to control point at the bottom. Now if I just pull that down, notice it doesn't pull the rest of the earring with it. So if I press the O key on the keyboard, and then start to pull, it's still not working, but if I scroll the center mouse button at the same time now, you can see it's starting to bring the rest of the object down with it. So you just play around until you've got the shape that you want. Now we clearly need to reposition these points, and before I do that I must press O on the keyboard again just to switch off proportional editing, and I'll just pull that up. I think I'll probably need to switch the snap off as well, and I'll just press G on the keyboard to grab that and reposition it, and reposition it, and reposition it, and I just need to reposition that point as well. And you just need to go around and just check that everything's still in place. It just depends how much you actually displace it. That looks okay at the moment, so I can come out of edit mode. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File and Append. And we always in Fluid Designer go up through the menu system until you get to Groups folder. I'm going to append the connector, and I'm going to append the wire connector with a 1.5mm hole. And just make sure that you've got it selected here. And if I just pull that up, and I just need to position it accurately now. So at the top there, I'll just switch to wireframe, just check that it's in the middle here. That's okay. And what I can do now is if I hold down the shift key and then click on to my earring and go to Tools, Object, Tools, and join the two objects together, that will take on the shape of the earring. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a letter, a Harrington font. So again, I go to File and Append, go up through the menu system until you get to Groups folder, look for fonts, so it's Alphabet Harrington font. I'm going to use a W font, so we just append that from the library. And you can see that the W font is thicker than the earring. The default thickness is usually 2mm. The W is not selected, as you can see there. Now it's 2mm thick. So I'm going to change that to 1 by 1, so it's the same as my earring. And if I just view it from the front now and just zoom in and just pull that up, and I'm going to protrude it so that it's about 0.8 of a millimeter. So there's just some overlap between the W and the earring, and you can clearly just play around with the position of it there until you're sort of happy. Once you're happy with it, if you hold down the shift key and highlight the earring and go to Tools, Object, Tools, and Join, there's your finished object essentially. And so that can then be exported as an OBJ or as an STL file. So I'll just call it Inkscape Voronoi pattern earring. So you just got too many R's there, and so you just export that, and then what you need to do is to run that through Netfabb Basic to repair it. Okay, so once that's saved, if you just go to Netfabb Basic, which you can download free from the internet, and if you just open up that earring file from the desktop, in this case, that's where I saved it, you just need to run through the repairs procedure in Netfabb Basic. It's always the case with Fluid Designer for 3D printing that you do get some minor errors. So we can see we get a warning red triangle. It's fairly straightforward. We just click the button there to see where the problem is. There's some edge problems and some holes. Just click automatic repair and execute and just wait for it to run through the repair procedure. And once this bar is at the end, we're going to click apply repair and remove the old part, and we should see that our object is then 3D printable. So if I just click on update here, you can see there's no problems now. So we just apply the repair and remove the old part, and you see our warning red triangle has gone there. So you just export it as an OBJ, and I just save it on top of the original one there. You sometimes get another error message like this about manifold edges, but just click optimize, and Netfabb will make those repairs, as you can see with the green tick. So that's your 3D printable object. Now, because this is an earring, it's a good idea in Fluid Designer to check the weight of this, and to do that you do actually need to convert it to a mesh first. That was still a curve object, and if you just open up the toolbox and go to 3D printing and click on volume, you're really looking for something about 0.3 or below. That equates to about 3 grams. So you don't want this value too high. We could have always sized it a little bit smaller if we want to reduce the weight of this object below 3 grams. But that's essentially all you need to do. So you can put any letter of the alphabet on there, or you can put other objects from the system as well. So good luck.